Hey everybody, it's Eric Dorward with the Spartan Rocketry Club again, and we are continuing our build of the Estes Big Bertha. I have finished processing all the fins down. They are ready to be attached, but prior to doing that, we want to put the motor mount into the body tube. So I have already put the lines on using the template and a door jamb, so that is ready to go. Let's get the fins out of the way for a moment. So as usual, the motor mount needs to go in like this. Quick test fit first. And our goal is to have the end of the interior tube matched up. Not quite, not sticking out like that, just like that. So flush. Let's get that out. That was actually a pretty snug fit. I had to, that's not easy to get out. So I'm going to actually look at, before I completely put this in, I'm going to look at, oh, that's an awful sound. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Anyway, let's look at the edges of this thing and see if there are any obvious burrs that are causing it to do that. Because that was abusive. That was abusive on the ears. So we'll kind of sand this down a little bit to make sure that it fits a little bit better. I mean, it's good that it fits snugly, but that was a little much. So just sanding the edges of this thing. That should be good. All right, as usual, we need some glue and a dowel, and my dowel is glued to my scrap here, so looks like I'm gonna have to break the tip off here. There we go. That's fun. A little bit of glue, and then we will paint on the inside of this. Now, this is really long, so instead of having the glue, all the way in, basically as long as my dowel can go, the instructions just suggest that I apply some glue just on the inside of it. Well, I'm gonna put some in here. I don't know, about half of my scrap in, about that much length. And I'm not trying to get it to actually, set up there, but I'm going to try to get the glue to transfer onto the far bulkhead by doing so. Because that was going to happen as soon as I put glue on the interior side of this anyway. When I push the bulkheads past, they're going to get glue on them. And that is in part how they're going to set up more or less in the right place. Now, it would be preferable if I could have the glue exactly where I wanted the bulkhead to be, but that's not really an option. So in addition to that, I am going to put some glue just on the interior. This thing's about 1/4 inch from where I want it to set up. So I'm going to paint some glue right around 1/4 of an inch on the inside of the tube, and I'm just eyeballing that. No measurement necessary. All right. The hook doesn't really need to line up with anything, but it's kind of typical to line it up with the launch lug line. Why? I don't know. Well, I mean, there is some benefit because the fins are going to be hanging down here. And if they're directly in line, I suppose that could be problematic and annoying. By the way, a little bit of glue I put on did set up behind the metal hook, but I've popped that free. So anyway, in this goes, and I am going to try to line up the hook as best I can and push it in just so that it is past the edge of the body tube. It should be. That's actually quite good. Not to toot my own horn, but that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Now, since we're going to put some glue right on the edge between the body tube and the motor mount. You're not going to be able to see me do this, of course, because it's too tall. It doesn't fit on the camera. So all I'm going to be doing here is making a nice fillet on the inside of this. I'll show you when I'm done. And the fact that the hook is there does make this rather difficult. There I've set the glue, and I'm going to spread it with my finger as best I can. And the hook is in the way. It's just a fact of life we'll have to deal with. So there we go. that should be good for the time being. I can continue on here. I'm going to apply the fins next, and since the motor mount doesn't really interact with the fins, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to get my little scrap of cardboard out of the way because I don't need that. What I do need, though, is some space to be putting this down. So I'm not going to, of course, glue all these on camera because why bother, but same technique applies as usual. Hopefully, when you are shaping this, you are careful to make sure that the grain is pointing toward the root edge. This is the root edge. Onto the root edge goes my glue. This is actually a pretty wide piece of balsa, so it does require a decent amount of glue here. And as usual, I'm going to spread it out, let it start to set, and then wait, about 30 seconds or so before putting the second layer of glue on. So that's the exciting part. Here, by the way, is a little bit of a scrap from a previous, well, it's not a scrap, it's actually a bit of a guide from a previous model when we were building the Blue Origin's new Shepherd model. And this one actually we can use because it's the same body tube, and we can use it as a spacer to make sure that we got the alignment right. So that's kind of a convenient little thing to have. Otherwise, we can use either the grid lines on my cutting mat here, or we can just eyeball it to make sure that we have 90-degree angles. Okay, there's my second layer of glue. Spread things out a little bit again. It's fine. This is pretty big, so it is going to be kind of ungainly to be attaching. That's all right. So in any event, the fins, we actually have a template here that we can check against, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So the fins do go all the way to the edge. So I'm going to kind of roll it on like so and try to make sure the alignment is right. I'm going to hold it in place for 10 or 15 seconds to get the glue started before I check my alignment and see how much of an adjustment needs to be done here. While I am doing this, the other thing that needs to be done with gluing before the general build here is complete is the launch lug. And the launch lug is ridiculously long for some reason in this kit. Not sure why. And I looked into marking where that should be before I started gluing the fins on. But as it turns out, the instructions say just put it so that it is aligned with the front end. So that's all the farther it should go. Well, I can do that. I don't need to make any marks. That's nice. All right, so at this point, I'm going to check my alignment. And with just one of them in place, it's kind of hard to tell. Looks like it's listing a little bit, but not a whole lot. So there we go. I am going to prop this up vertically. Of course, you can't see the top of it. I'm not going to check the alignment right now. I want to get a second fin on first because it is generally easier to tell if things are where they ought to be by comparing two of the fins relative to each other than just kind of saying, oh, yeah, that looks like a 90-degree angle. We'll also be able to use that little bit of, well, it's not scrap, actually. It is a little bit of a jig to help us get our alignment right. So same deal here. Let the glue set up for a little bit, and then we'll add some more. And then at that point, we will start checking for alignment. So I built one kind of like this before. It was actually a baby Bertha. So the body tube is like, I don't know, a third as long as this thing. But the fins are still ridiculously large. And I didn't really get the alignment very accurate in doing that. So I want to be extra careful this time because I would like to have a decent looking Bertha model of some sort. And it is worth noting too that since this is such a long enduring Estes model, there are many versions of it. So there's baby Bertha. Not entirely sure if that one's still in production. There is a 2-stage Bertha that you can still get. And I believe there is, I don't know if it's still in production or not, but there's also a mid-power one. So that would be I forget what they call that, like a jumbo Bertha or something like that. We'll have to look that up. All right, so fin number two. Ooh, that's kind of globby. Before we start making a mess, yeah, you can see it down at the end there. I have a fairly large glob. That's going to make this setting up process annoying and difficult. So we'll spread that out. All right, trying again. Now, of course, the key here is gravity is trying to pull this other fin that I've already put off the rocket. I don't want that. And I also have a penchant for bumping these things. So I'm going to do my best not to get anywhere near the other fin as I carefully set the next one where it ought to be. I have kind of drifted it forward a little bit there. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to hold it in place for about 10 or 15 seconds. Because again, I don't want to be fiddling with alignment when the glue is very much not set in any way, shape, or form. Now, obviously, I don't want to wait too long either, because then I'd be essentially breaking the glue bonds, and that's no good. But about that much time, setup time, is probably good enough for me to be able to adjust things without the whole thing flopping off. And it's also a good time to clean up my glue seams here. All right, so let's have a look. Looking down the barrel, it's kind of hard to tell for me right here, but I did adjust it a little bit. But we've got this jig. Let's check and see how things are looking according to the jig. So it's pretty good. I can kind of adjust things up a little bit. Yeah, I'm reasonably happy with that. So by jamming the jig in there, I've messed up my seam, so I'm going to have to touch that up. All right, so before I do the rest of this off camera, I am going to attach the lug next, because that actually is going to go on the next line. So that's convenient. Might as well do that now. This, of course, does not require the two-step process because it's just a launch lug. You know, it's not supporting a lot of weight. It's not going to experience an excessive amount of G load for, whatever is going on. A little bit maybe, but hopefully like practically none. We have a straight rod. It shouldn't experience a whole lot of load one way or the other. So there's my glue. That's plenty. And so this is supposed to go on to the launch lug line, essentially at the edge of the fin. So that looks, yeah, see, this is why we make sure the glue is set on things. Obviously, I'm going to have to do something about that. The launch lug is fine. I'm going to check its alignment while looking down the tube. It looks fine. The problem with big fins is that even though they have a lot of surface area for you to attach the glue to, they weigh a lot. And since they weigh a lot, it doesn't take a whole lot for them to start falling off the side when the glue is not completely set. So that is unfortunate. That means I'm going to have to go back and hold it down. I don't think I need more glue. There was still glue there. But whatever alignment work I've done has now been completely undone. And yeah, I got to go through all the trouble of checking all this stuff again. Yeah, well, it's okay. It looks passable, and I will use this tool more once all four are on. By the way, I'm setting it upright in between glue attachments so that this doesn't repeat itself. If it's standing straight up and down, the gravity is pulling it straight down rather, straight through the axis of the rocket rather than the other direction, which would put more of the weight of the fin. The weight of the fin right now is going straight down through the glue line rather than across it. So in any event, I'm going to glue these off camera, and I will show you the finished project momentarily. All right, so after some minor difficulties, I have attached the fins. As I said, it gets difficult when the fins are big, because although the fins have a wider area in which you're gluing, so there's more glue to bond to the tube, they're also heavier. And that was certainly the case this time, and on several occasions I had the fin that was at right angles to the one I was trying to work with flop off, which is irritating, but kind of, I don't know, the slower you go, the better luck you are likely to have. Now, the downside to that is the slower you go, the more the glue sets and the harder it is to make final adjustments if the fins don't happen to be exactly where they ought to be in relation to each other by the time you have finished. Also worth noting that I managed to bump the launch lug at one point, so it was very much off kilter. And I still, want to make sure by looking down the barrel that it is running the way it ought to. And it seems fine right now. You'll notice there's also some glue muck here and there that needs to be removed, like this little bit there. And that will come off during the finishing process. I also checked the alignment using this little doodad, and it looks pretty good. I have not yet, because the glue is not dry to my satisfaction, I have not stood it up on the fins. I have been standing it up like so, and nose down. And with nose down, I can't actually like put the rocket on my grid or on this little diagram that's provided in the instructions to make sure that everything is right. However, checking with this and looking at right angles, I feel pretty confident that things are the way they are. In about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, I will check it against the grid line here, but there's not really anything to see at that point. Things look pretty good. I'm generally happy with them. Now, construction's basically done at this point. The remaining bit of prep work that needs to be done is preparing the fins with some wood filler and some sanding sealer, and then painting the spray paint, both primer and subsequently the final color. This one, fortunately, is all black, so that's an easy enough job. I'm not too concerned about that. But I do want this to look pretty nice, and the fins do have a lot of grain to them, so it's going to take a while to make sure that that is taken care of before I actually put the final color onto it. So this is it for construction. In the next video, we will apply decals. The decals are different from anything else we've done so far this year. They're even more different than usual. And this 20-year-old shock cord's got to go too. So we will find an alternate replacement for that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the concluding video once all the intervening steps are done. Thanks for watching.